Sebab tak nak voters pula.
We're going live in 3, 2, 1, cue.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and welcome to IRKHSSS Presidential Seats Manifesto Debate. My name is Ilya Marsha and I will be your moderator for this session. Tonight, we will get acquainted with the 4 candidates of the presidential seat of the online election that will take place tomorrow, the 24th of December 2020 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The link to cast your votes can be accessed through the IRKHSSS social media accounts and Telegram channel, or you can opt to access it through your respective Secretariat social media accounts. And on to our main agenda for the next 2 hours, we will get up close and personal to the future leaders or representatives, the catalyst of change for KIRKHS. So for the first session, each candidate of each will be given 15 minutes to introduce themselves and their insights for the future of IRKHS in the name of progression. We will then proceed with a question and answer session between candidates, where they will be given 5 minutes to answer all questions. And last but definitely not the least, our candidates will be answering questions from all of you, the audience. You can start posing any questions now, and don't forget to state the name of the candidate that you wish to pose your question to. So without further ado, let's start with the introduction of our candidates. So each candidate will be given 15 minutes to present themselves. A bell will be rang once in the 14th minute to signify that you have exactly 1 minute left. And the bell will be rang twice to signify that the end of your 15 minutes. So I hope that everyone is clear. So let us call to the floor candidate 01, Brother Akif Anha from the Department of Psychology. So Brother Akif, if you please.
Thank you, moderator. Good evening to everyone watching us today or tonight. Assalamualaikum and good evening again. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Akif bin Anha. I'm a 3rd year student, first semester, and I am currently doing psychology with a minor in IRKHS, as some of you might have asked in the Instagram before. So let me get this. Let me start this ball roll here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is easy for me to blame the COVID-19 pandemic for our education system to be lackluster and unreliable. But in actuality, the pandemic is just a driving force and a final straw to what we've been facing through for years and years now. I've been in UIA for almost 4 years, including my CFS years, and I can assure you that even though there is a chance for change year after year, it will always go back to the way it was. Don't get me wrong, I love UIA, I love the university, I love the community within UIA, I love the people, and the precious memories that I've made in UIA is some of the most heartwarming things for me, something that I treasure the most. But I feel with love comes responsibility, and when you have to criticize them and you have to tell them something is wrong. So that's what I feel is coming from all of us, isn't it? We don't hate UIA per se. We don't hate our community. We don't hate the administration. We don't hate our lecturers, and we don't hate our subjects, essentially, because we're just frustrated. We're frustrated that they sometimes don't understand our point of view. They don't understand our way of life. So we criticize them, not complain, as a lot of people may say. We complain a lot. We're not complaining, we're criticizing. We want to make sure that everything is okay in UIA because we love UIA. And every time we criticize, it feels like our voices are not heard. That's why right now, I am representing all of you. I'm trying to represent everyone within the IRKHS community. I am representing me, myself, all of you, and people in the upper authorities, people in the lower authorities, people within society, society members, subcommittees, locals, internationals, first year students, second year students, third year students, fourth year students. No, I will be focusing on all of you. I won't take any pride and prejudice, and I will not take any how do you say, I will not take any focus towards a certain particular group. I will focus on all of you individually. I will focus on all of you equally. That's my slogan, for equity and for a chance, because I want all of you to have a chance to do something great, because I believe all of us can do something great in our own special way. IRKHS is a big society, it's a big community, it's a big kuliah. It's one of the biggest kuliah, if not the biggest kuliah in IIUM. And not only is it the biggest, but it's the proudest group of people and the most diverse. We have students from history, from psychology, from communication, from sociology, Arabic, Islamic studies, hadith, and all of these different societies coming together under one roof, which is IRKHS. The diversity itself makes it unique, and us standing here together for this presidential debate just shows how much we care about IRKHS, because we want the best for IRKHS, not only for society or the organization, not only for the kuliah itself, but for the community, for the people who are living in IRKHS, who are going through who are studying under the IRKHS banner. And so I am representing all of you today. I am making the most nerve-wracking decision in all my life. I am basically trying to step out there to be the person that can guide you, that can lead you towards a better future, to give you a chance in doing something great, to achieve something great in your own specialty. I want to shine a light on all of you, and I mean all of you. I repeat myself. I'm going to shine a light on all of you, the locals, the international, the society members, the first-year students, second-year students, third-year students, fourth-year students, all of you, because Rome wasn't built in a single day, and it was not built by one man. So I believe if we work together in harmony, if we work together to build a better future, we can actually achieve a future where we can live in harmony, in peace, and also in equity. So the first thing that will come to me is, how am I going to achieve that? And if you look into my campaign, you would see that I have several manifestos in mind. And the first one being to ease the development and the education system of the students, and the second way to bring back the spirit of IRKHS. Sorry for my stutter there. So what do I mean by that? What I mean essentially by my second manifesto is, I'm trying to figure out a way to help with the community engagement. I'm trying to fix IRKHS by going through its roots, by going through its source. My first manifesto deals with all of you, basically community engagement, basically deals with every single society, every single student, every single one of you who is in desperate need for help, to ease development and to ease education. In terms of development, I feel like we should work together in collaboration within societies and IRKHSSS, using IRKHSSS as a big platform to elevate all the different society within the department, and from that in of itself, the department will raise the students that each department is catering to. For example, if IRKHSSS is becoming the platform to raise departments such as PsychStar, then PsychStar in of itself can raise the students within psychology to become better people, and thus that in of itself will make development that would mean that the development of students can be assured. And what I mean by education, it simply is something like something as minute as pre-registration. I can assure you that now pre-registration, if you've been in UIA for some time, you can understand how difficult it is to register subjects, especially online. And I feel you, but you have to understand there's people who are in worse situations than you. And I'm not talking about fourth-year students. I'm not talking about third year or second year. I'm talking about these people, these newcomers, these freshmen who are coming into the university with high hopes, with high innocence, that are the ones struggling the most because they can't find the one subject that they need to get into, to delve themselves into the department. For example, because I'm in psychology, I will give you my example. When you're coming into psychology in your first year, the only subject you could take is psychology 1000 or Psych 1000. And if you don't have Psych 1000, you're basically done. You have nowhere else to go unless you're going through electives like IRK or any other electives from any other department or any other kuliah. So I feel that I want to I want to at least give the chance for our first year students, you know, because when they're coming into the university, they still have the innocence in mind. They still have a sense of exploration. They still have that sense of being a part of a community. They're still new. They're still fresh. So I feel that it is a good way for us to bring the spirit or ease the process for first year students, because they're the next generation, because they're the ones who are coming in with a blank slate, and we as the seniors should be the role model towards the first year students. And secondly, when I talk about my second manifesto, which is to bring back the essence or bring back the spirit of IRKHS, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be focusing on on one aspect, because in this manifesto, I'm talking specifically about IRKHSSS as an organization, and an organization and an umbrella to the other departments, and how their community and how they're engaging with it, and how they're engaging with the community of IRKHS. Because IRKHSSS now, as it stands, because I've been in IRKHSSS for a year now. I know that's a mouthful, but I've been in IRKHSSS for a year, and I understand the struggles of students a little bit better, because I'm dealing with, I was the head of education and intellectual. So I feel like I have a better understanding, or at least understanding of the points of views or different point of views of students who are struggling with not only internet access, not only lack of access of information, but also the time zone difference when it comes to international students, the visa problems when it comes to international students, the lack of internet access, the lack of data, the lack of time even given when it comes to subject submissions and all that. So I feel IRKHSSS as an organization is able to help that, but I feel like I said, I feel like you have to fix it from the source. By what I mean by that is IRKHSSS is the source of IRKHS. It's the mother of IRKHS. So by fixing IRKHSSS, I feel that we can fix everything else in accordance, because IRKHSSS is the mother that we need, and is the mother that I seek to, or IRKHSS is the guardian I want. I want to make IRKHSSS the guardian of IRKHS, and to cater to the community better. What I mean by that is I want to reorganize the IRKHS organization, and then probably have more engagement, having it making it a little bit more active, having an active role within the departmental societies, within the with the student engagement, with student involvement, because IRKHSSS, as I said before, is a really big platform with a really large popularity base, I would say. And if we fix IRKHS, for example, by reorganizing it and restructuring it and delegating the tasks for each council towards specific tasks within with the departments, for example, with academic and intellectual, from the experience that I've been, if I were to become president, and then I can assume that if I were to do education and intellectual council, it would have to be with they would have to advise, or they would have to invigilate all the different departments within IRKHS, within all the departmental societies. So by that, not only we clear a picture of what students are facing, but then we can also reorganize, organize the problem, and then find a proper solution to help these people, to help all the students, because everyone is going through a struggle. And I can understand that we cannot save everybody, we cannot make everyone satisfied, we cannot make everyone happy, but at least we can help the majority be happy with what they have. At least they can be satisfied with being in the university, being in the community, being in the culture that they're part of. So I feel that if we were to move forward in helping the students, in helping the community of IRKHS, I feel it is important to start from the roots, to start from IRKHSSS, to start with a basic restructuring, a basic reorganization, and a fix of priority. Because right now we're facing a really large or catastrophic pandemic, and I understand how the stresses of being at home or being confined within a small space, and to learn while also going through life is a difficult task. So I feel it's more important now to fix IRKHS and use IRKHSSS platform to be the platform for community engagement and student involvement as a whole. So with that, I would like to end that. In short, that I'm a nobody. I have experiences with IRKHS. I have experiences with STAR. I have experience with IRKHSSS as an organization. But I am nobody. I am everyone like you. I'm an ordinary man. If I were to compare myself with all the other candidates, they probably have a higher shot at me with the popularity contest. I have I have no to back people that I'm not every single one of you who are like every man like me. And but how I differ from everyone is that I have that pride, I have that passion to move forward and to fix what is right. Because in actuality, I really don't care. I shouldn't really care about IRKHS. But the fact that I am struggling myself, and then I'm seeing everyone else struggle with what they're dealing with when being in IRKHS, especially while being an IIUM student. I feel like I should step up and say something, because I have that passion to save IRKHS. I have the passion to save the community. I have the passion to help and care for the community with all the things that with all the qualities that I have. And I also have the pride and the courage to go against with the management and the administration if need be. So in short, I would like to say that if we work together, we can if we work together, and if we collaborate or unite as if we collaborate as a united front, we can achieve anything. Like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it was not built by one man. And a leader cannot be a leader without the people working under him. So for my final thoughts, I would say that motivation is a strong driving force, as we learn in psychology. But without passion, motivation can only go on for so long. And this is a message that I want to share with all of you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Brother Akif. That was rather insightful. So next, let us call upon Brother Fakhruddin Razak from the Department of History and Civilization, candidate 02. Okay, here.
Everyone can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Brothers and sisters, I would love to start my speech with a quote. Leadership is not a position or a title, but it's an example and action. Thank you to the moderator, Sister Marsha, for this event. How are you, Sister Marsha? I hope you are doing fine. It's an honor also to be with my comrade, Sister Daini, especially one of the female candidates, Brother Akif, and also Honorable Brother Anas, and all the viewers, supporters, especially those from the Kuliah of Islamic Level Knowledge and Human Sciences that are keeping our democracy alive. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fakhruddin Abdul Razak, second year first semester students, currently majoring in History and Civilization, Kuliah of IRKHSSS. I'm contesting for a presidential seat for IRKHSSS Student Society. My principle is to improve and become a better person. And I stand by my principle, which is ethic or adab, knowledge or ilmu, and practice. On the other hand, I would love to share that I also love to read non-fiction books, which is dealing with facts, and I will express what I have read on the social media for public users. Thank you to Sister Marsha and others. In our manifesto booklet, you can see that the philosophy of my manifesto is focusing on two mediums, which is IRKHSSS Student Society, councils, and our beloved student itself. Why do we stress about councils and our beloved students? It is because the council themselves are the backbones of IRKHSSS student society. Councils need to be as much as close relationship with the main board, the most important, the main board, and the IRKHSSS student society itself. The second of our manifesto is to promote the future careers of IRKHSSS students. It is because a future career is significant for each of the IRKHSSS students for their survival, especially during this COVID pandemic. So, without further ado, let I be more precise about how and why the manifesto can benefit all of the students themselves and no one left behind again. And I repeat, and no one left behind. We would like to share our manifesto for students. The first one is to enhance the role of council under IRKHSSS Student Society towards integration. Please take note the word of integration. Roles of council and exco secretariats and students also determine the successfulness of this manifesto. As you can see, the fact is we are the one of the largest kuliah in IIUM. So we have many departments and students may contribute to the IRKHSSS itself indirectly. So this secretariat and students, our beloved students, need to be together with IRKHSSS Student Society. We believe that we should close the gap. This is important thing. We should close the gap between councils, secretariats, and students. We need to be a leader. We need to be a leader with students together, especially when they are in need. Leader have with students when they are in need. I love to say this quote if someone asks me regarding the IIUM matters. One of the students who currently WhatsApp me, he asked personally and asked, what do you get by helping others? I didn't have any position in IRKHSSS itself. So I said to her, this little of my effort, willingness of small help to help him or her to do with their to help with to help their matters. That is my main mission. So I help them. Of course, we love each other, right? So my mission is to help them. It's okay. My that is not related about the position. The important is willingness. We have the willingness to help all of the students what we are capable for. I personally don't like to see students who left behind. Honestly, I don't like to see students who left behind. We want council, secretariat, and other of students at the same level as the main board itself. So I love to share this quote. One of the quote from my figure also, my idol also, which is from Sister Idayu Mumtaz, one of the student union committee. He shared the question about shared the question about his mentors in the leadership in her status in Instagram. That the question is about what should leader have, the most critical question, right? So Sister Idayu share that leaders should not be in their circle only. Leaders must with the students also. This is what leaders to take note. I repeat the point. Leaders should not in their circle only. Leaders must with the students. So, without further ado, I would love to share my first manifesto, which is the first manifesto. We honestly, we see the lack of kuliah society efficiency to serve student needs due to ambiguous job scope and unorganized documentation. I would love to repeat my point. the first manifesto that has been decided, but it's because we see the lack of kuliah society efficiency itself to serve student needs in this COVID pandemic due to ambiguous job scope and unorganized documentation. So now we need to solve the problem for the sake of the students. We must to solve the problem for the sake of the student itself. So, what are my mechanism and strategy for this problem? Each of the councils will be organizing one of impactful program with all the secretariats regularly to increase the spirit of one kuliah towards betterment. This is the important part. To increase the spirit of one kuliah towards betterment. The second mechanism is to provide a proper report and proposal by updating in the Google Drive for soft copy proposal and report and filing all of the proposal according to years for future reference. With the I quote from IIUM Student Union IIUM Student Union tagline, which is with the students, by the students. This quote is very critical, which is the student tagline is highlighted the importance of student voices. This is also important for IRKHSSS and IRKHSSS Student Society also to achieve vision, which is integration towards perfection. Vision of IRKHSSS, which we know as integration towards perfection. IRKHSSS students also may benefit from this advantage. They also may utilize all of IRKHSSS student society to serve students' needs. In other hand, for our second manifesto, we want to promote future planning to IRKHSSS students. As we know that kuliah IRKHSSS have many departments, and each of the departments have their capability, have their own role, have their own model to help for future graduate. So, how do we want to generate this manifesto? What are our strategy? What are our mechanism? The first one is to conduct a special session with the Dean of Kuliah and department advisors regarding the academics, motivation, job exposure, and so on. Why do these both parties is important? It is because the Dean of Kuliah will help our manifesto, will help our mission, with the department advisor, with the knowledge of their background, academic background, to help the students, to show the student their path. Where do they want to go after their graduate? The second mechanism is, I believe that the invitation from the Human Resource Office to give talks on student marketability, this is important. Student marketability may benefit student as well, because Human Resources Office have organizing the where do students need to go after graduate. So I will continue. Thirdly, we are inviting IIUM alumni who are already involved in the employment field to share more on future career. Why do we need to invite IIUM alumni? Why do we need? What is the importance? It is because the IIUM alumni is in the industry itself. In Malay, we call turun padang itself. He know what in the career itself. So they are deserve to be called by us to give a talk about what are the real situation in the working environment. So that is the third strategy or mechanism. The fourth one, inshallah, we will be organizing a career program for especially for IRKHSSS students. Why do we need for career program, my brothers and sisters? Why do we need? What is the importance of the career program? Most of the student of IRKHSSS itself did not know where to go after they graduate. So this is main my main mission to help them to know what they will gonna do after they graduate. They know their path very well. And lastly, my last mechanism, I would like to share to my audience and supporters, brothers and sisters, that lastly, my most important point is to provide any job vacancy. I'll repeat the point. To provide any job vacancy and scholarship advertisement from the government and private sector itself. Most of the time, we hear that the private sector only that have a strong platform to disseminate their news, right? But I would love to share to my student also about government sector also. So both of these platform is important for every student in IRKHSSS to manage their path, to manage their career, to manage their to to manage their every career or their path after his or her graduation. So I will love to close my sharing session with my all supporters and students. We love students. We love all the secretariats. Don't forget, hashtag Team Rudin 02. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Fakrudin, for the introduction. So I would like to welcome our new viewers. If you have any questions to our candidates, kindly leave it in the comment box. So, or please also state the candidates that you wish to pose your question to. So, with that, let's invite our only female candidate for tonight, candidate 03, Sister Daini Shaikh from the Department of Political Science. Please, sister.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Sister Masha, for the kind introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Siti Nodaini Izati binti Shewahid, but you guys can call me Daini. I am a second year first semester political science student in IIUM, and I'm currently running as a president candidate, number 03. Okay, so before we begin with my manifesto, I would like to briefly explain with you guys my vision and mission in general on what our kuliah could possibly be under the participation of me, myself, and you guys, and also possibly with these fellow brothers as well. Okay, so my entire missions is to uphold basically all the manifesto that I will explain further. But my vision is basically to see the betterment of our kuliah comparing to the previous tenure. Of course, everyone basic motivations or purposes is to be better than we are today, right? Our purpose is to become better than we are yesterday. So you must become better for tomorrow and the day afterwards, right? Okay. So my manifesto is very simple. I have three triple E manifesto that I would present to you guys. And the first one is I want to enhance the integrations and the information disseminations among IRKHSSS secretariats. How am I supposed to do that? Is that obviously based on my capabilities, I think from what I can achieve if I were to be participated under the administrations of IRKHSSS, I would love to conduct a inclusive monthly meeting with every secretariat. So considering every chairpersons under IRKHSSS secretariat such as elites, ALA, SOKASA, KOSA, POSA, his forums, and also IRK students as well. So I don't want for us to have contradictions informations among the secretariat itself, and I want us to have a meeting with the deaneries, and I want to include the inclusivity sense among us so that we could really work hand in hand, because as I am to be elected a part of the IRKHSS, its name as IRKHSS is the, like Akif said, is the mother of the secretariat. So why do I feel like currently our secretariat is more like a cousin compared to a siblings? Can you guys relate? I feel like we were supposed to have like a one single motherhood, but I don't think I have heard of any historian programs or ALA programs in POSA's information distribution. So I just think that I would love to, hear some updates from other kuliah, from other secretariat as well, since we are under the same kuliah. So we were supposed to have this communications and also the oneness, the togetherness. Yeah, that is the main thing that I'm aiming for if I were to join in this future tenure. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing for my manifesto. The second E, what E? The second E is I want to elevate employability skills. So it is a good thing that I share the same vision as Brother Fakruddin, so that we can work hand in hand with his idea and mine. I want to create a chance, a medium for students to enhance their employability skills. So what do I mean by employability skills? Employability skills is a skills that makes you marketable to any company, which is going to be your future employer. So these add a bonus point, not only to your degree, not only to your qualifications, it adds you to a sense of leadership in your working space in the future. So I think it is important for us IRKHSS students to have the employability skills, because I think aside from the integration, I think what IRKHSS student is lacking is basically the awareness of attaining those skills. Because I know that we are still struggling to find ourselves in our journey of university. So I think not all students are aware that we need to, aside from our academic, we need to have other qualifications as well that makes us stand out from other candidates. Because mind you, after we have graduated from this university, we're not only competing with our fellow kuliah mates, but we are competing with other university candidates as well. So imagine yourself going to interviews. So what are the other qualifications that make you stand out from others? So obviously, this is what I want to instill in every IRKHSS students. I want us to have the skills that we can make use of, not only for today, but also in the future. So what skills did I mean? Is a skills that, have you guys heard gig economy? I hope you guys have heard of gig economy. Gig economy is a industry that acquires skills that is based on technology and modern revolution, artificial intelligence and stuff. So that is what I am trying to insert in our kuliah, because it is not supposedly to be in ICT students only. I think it is a skill that every other major students need to attain as well, such as data management, file compiling, and also every other online skill service oriented. We must attain those skills, as many as possible. So how am I going to attain that? How am I going to really convey to you guys my manifesto, my second manifesto, is that I am planning to organize multiple e-workshop, considering taking an expertise of each fields to a free workshop for you guys to join, and that so we can learn and we can use in our degree. So what my main point in the second one is that I want you guys to know that I'm trying to avoid the biasness. I am not trying to only taking the skills that probably make most use benefits in my course only, because this is IRKHSS. This is IRKHSS, and underneath IRKHSS is a lot of majors. So what I'm trying to uphold is basically organizing a workshop of skills that is generally can be used in any majors, that you can use regardless of your future career. So that is what I'm trying to uphold. So the third and the last manifesto of mine is I want to the last E, is establish the ERTL COVID-19 support system. Okay, so for those who might don't know, this semester I was an academic co-chairperson along with Brother Akif, in charge of academic council, everything regarding academic. So as we all know, starting my tenure is already quarantine, and it marks the beginning of ERTL period. So it was a tough challenges because I was starting to adapt to become the Council of Education, and now not only I have to struggle with the online learning itself, but I have to learn on how to assist other students with their crisis, not only local but also international. So from there, I have learned that lots of us have suffered with ERTL periods, and I think it is pretty saddening for us to struggle with not only internet connections, but yeah, like Brother Akif said, the visa, not only the visa fees, the visa entrance, and also the time zone period, the different time, and the submission date. I'm sure you guys can relate with all of this. I don't need to explain with you guys the struggle. I know we are in this together. So that is why I think it is very crucial for the administration of IIUM to take this case seriously. Which is why I am planning to organize a mental health support system, which is by by planning, organizing a assistance, which is a bureaucracy specifically that is going to help in ERTL, which is in my tenure is academic council, but I'm planning to extend or adding a number of other committees that can make use of in assisting thousands of students, because the two of us is not enough to assist this semester. So what I'm trying to say is that other than having a hotline and online assistance to our students in need, I am planning to have a frequently asked questions also listed in the website for those who might don't know, so that you guys can check it out and also learn how to solve the issues are efficiently and fast and responsive. If our committee is not able to respond to you guys can just refer to the website. That is what I'm trying to establish here. Okay, so I hope you guys can remember the triple E. Very simple, very straightforward. I want to enhance, elevate, and establish. Very simple. I'm trying to keep it as realistic as possible because I understand that this manifesto is a promise, my promise to you guys, my contract of deal to you guys if I were elected to be a part of IRKHSS, right? So if I were got elected, I want to make my promises is something that I can really fulfill, because later on I will be questions in the hereafter, right? So I want to make sure that this is something that we can achieve. Okay, but of course, I cannot do this alone. Of course, I would be needing my team effort, my subcommittees, and also I need you guys. You are actually the MVP here. You, the students, you are the essence of everything. Even if this election is revolved around you, and everything is coming back to the students. So that is why I want to make sure that my manifesto is something that I want for myself as a student. I think of my manifesto is like something what I want as a student, what is lacking in our society. So therefore, I came up with 3 manifesto that I think I could relate with you guys. Like this is the 3 main problems in IRKHSSS students that needs to be solved. So yeah, and I hope you guys can really be supportive regardless of whoever got elected, and support our manifestos, because at the end of the day, it is for you guys. Okay. And lastly, sorry I talk too much. Lastly, I think what makes me a different candidate compared to other candidates, obviously, aside from my gender, I think I would make a great asset to the society, to IRKHSSS Kuliah, because of my past experience for these 2 whole semester, a new norms of ERTL period. So I have been experiencing first-hand experience in assisting the student itself in managing their issues with ERTL. So I think it would be a waste for me if I didn't stand out and help you guys in a position where I can actually do something more than just assisting indirectly. So yeah, I think that would be it. And I hope you guys can remember my triple E. So If there's anything that you want to ask later on, I'll be open to answer. So thank you.
So thank you, Sister Daini. So let us now call to the floor our last candidate for tonight, candidate 04, Brother Anas Hayan from the Department of Political Science.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. To our moderator, Sister Marsha, to my colleagues, Brother Akif, Brother Fakhruddin, Sister Dayini, and to all of my beloved IRKHSSS students that is viewing this on IIUM TV YouTube channel. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to each and every one of you. Brothers and sisters, I am Anas Hayan bin Ahmad Zakwan, a second year, second semester political science student, and I am your candidate number 404 for this year's presidential election for IRKHSSS Student Society 2021. Brothers and sisters, currently our beloved Kuliah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences is looking towards manifesting the concept of sejahtera. What does sejahtera mean? Sejahtera means that we want to ensure a holistic well-being development for all of our IRKHSSS community members, not only individually, but also collectively as one Kuliah. So I believe that a student leader, a student representative that will be leading the umbrella body of our Kuliah should know that this big agenda that is being propagated by our rector, by our dean of our Kuliah, should attune first and foremost to the needs of our students so that nobody would be left behind. Because from my experiences as Secretary 2 of IRKHSSS Student Society 1920, Alhamdulillah, I am very, very, very thankful because it has given me the chance to connect closely with the students physically and also mentally. Physically and also virtually, I'm sorry. So physically, what I mean by physically is because during the early starts of the semester, I've been on duty at the Office of Deputy Dean of Academic Affairs and Industrial Linkages, where people would come to the office to inquire on their academic management, on what do they need to do to register the subjects, what could be done of if they have a problem with their study plan. So I was the intermediary between the students and also the Kuliah, and hopefully I would be the intermediary until the next tenure, inshallah. Virtually, what do I mean by virtually is that I was able to connect with our students from our Kuliah by social medias, because I was holding the social media accounts of IRKHSSS Student Society since day one, and I have seen the grievances, the struggles by our Kuliah members, because there are situations that we could not even think that a person could even live in that situation. So I believe over the year, especially with the COVID-19, we were hit by COVID-19 in the early stage of the year, and it has affected our whole university journey and our whole university experience. And I firmly believe that there are three pressing crises faced by our students, which I believe IRKHSSS Student Society must address in its strategic planning. Why do I say so? Because these three pressing crises, I have translated them and I have manifested them into my manifestos. Number one, which is to have a more effective academic management on a centralized platform. Number two, systemic welfare distribution. And number three, to enhance marketability for a better employment. I will start with my first manifesto, to have a better management of students' academic affairs. This centralized platform, for your information, ladies and gentlemen, will cater all of the information on academic matters, prereq, what are the subjects that could be taken, and this is to ensure a smooth course registrations and also adjustment, and this will also have a support system in collaboration by all secretariats and all the deanery staff. Brothers and sisters, what are the scenario right now? For example, before the COVID-19 had hit us, if we want to register our subjects manually, we will have to queue up at the office of each department. We have to give our UG01 form, but this is not being done because of the COVID-19, because we cannot have a physical interaction between people. That is why Office of Deputy Dean of Academic Affairs and Industrial Linkages, they have provided a new initiative, which is to give a QR code for each department for you to enter your course manually. So what is the problem right now? The problem right now is when you enter a subject, you will have to wait for 3 days. You have to wait for 3 days, and then you have to wait whether your subjects will be added to your course adjustment or not. Then if there is no update, who do you contact? Where can you find all of this information on online manual pre-registration? So this is why my solution is to have a centralized platform for us to see, okay, this is the department's link for me to manually register. So these are the PIC from the deanery if I have study plan issues, and these are the PIC from the department. From the department. For example, I am a political science student. I want to take a free elective course, for example, maybe intro to communication. And who do I contact? Of course, the academic advisor from the communication department. And that is why if I do not have the information, if the kuliah-based society, if IRKHS Student Society does not provide that information, who else would provide? That is why my first manifesto will ensure an efficient, will ease your course manual registration, because you can find everything inside this website. Let's move on to my second manifesto, which is to facilitate a systemic welfare distribution for all of our students mentally and also physically. Number one, why do I say systemic? Because I want to help everyone. I believe as the student body, as the kuliah-based society, we have to cater for every single groups of individuals, but not everyone is facing the same problem. Why do I say so? For example, mental health. It could affect every single one of our community, but then it should not only be comprised to the B40, M40, and also T20. How do I see mental health support that could be made by IKHS Student Society? I see mental health as two, for those that are affected and for those that are not affected. For those that are not affected, we have to propagate, we have to ensure that we will utilize all of our social media to give or to advocate more onto mental health, because these will be the people that will help those friends that are affected by mental health, because we are living in an unconducive environment. We are living in we are living in a new norm. That is how I see mental health. Number two is the first thing that I would do to ensure welfare is to have a fundraising platform for all of KIRKHS students, because I know we have to stay under one umbrella. We have to be united. We have to instill a sense of togetherness, because we want to be a holistic kuliah, right? So that is why for those that are privileged enough, for our friends that are privileged enough, you can help by chipping in the fundraising platform that I will provide, so that you can help our friends not only physically, not only with material stuff, but also mental stuff, mental health issues. So material stuff. What are the material stuff that I would like to help for our underprivileged, for the less privileged students of KIRKHS? I am here for you, because I know that it is not easy. For example, if you do not have a laptop, what are you going to do? You won't have the same starting point with our friends that are privileged. So that is why with this fundraising platform, we will do whatever in the best in our capacity to provide you something that is not something that is very sustainable, like laptop. Because I believe a student body should think beyond giving biscuits, should think beyond giving dry packed food, to just give lunches, to just give one-off assistance, because we need to think beyond something that is not sustainable. We have to move to be sustainable. Okay, that is how I see welfare for all of our KIRKHS students. Let's move on to my third manifesto and my last manifesto, which is to enhance employment and also to improve marketability for our students. Brothers and sisters, we all have a degree. We will all have a degree, but we do not have the link towards the industry during our study time, because there will be lack of access and a lack of exposure to industry players from each department. So what I am going to do, the first thing that I will going to do is to sit down with CCSC, to sit down with the kuliah deanery, because they will already have all of the industrial linkages with all of the industry for the people in our kuliah, from the people from outside of the kuliah, because then we will know what is the right skills, what are the values that are needed by the students to be taken after they graduate. Because I believe that whatever that we are learning inside the class is not enough. There are certain qualifications, there are certain values and skills that are needed for us students to excel after we graduate. That is why what I want to do is to have a job fair convention specifically for KIRKHS students, and this will be in line with our friends, our deanery from the kuliah, especially for the Office of Deputy Dean of Academic Affairs in Industrial Linkages, and also with the connection from the CCSC. inshallah. So I believe that these three pressing issues should be catered by a president. A president should know what is the system. A president should know who are the stakeholders for our student body, who are the students, how many students do we have, how many departments, who do we contact when we need help. That is why I genuinely believe, everyone, I am very excited to be leading IRKHS Student Society 2021 with this spirit and focus to make IRKHS sejahtera, to ensure a holistic development of well-being for all of our students. And more importantly, if the students needs to trust me to be their presidents, I will firmly prioritize involving all of the stakeholders to move strong together, and to fight for students' voice and interest in the Kuliah's decision making. So these are my plan, everyone. If you have any questions, do drop them, because I will be answering each and everyone, because I am ready to be the next president of IRKHS Student Society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Anas. That wraps up our presentation for tonight. And with that, we will now begin our debate. Each candidate are given 5 minutes to answer questions that are posed to them. So I will now open the floor for questions to Brother Akif. So Brother Fakhruddin will start with the question, followed by Sister Daini and Brother Anas. So Brother Fakhruddin, if you please.
I'm sorry, Sister Masha. Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear
You can now
it
post
clearly.
your questions to Brother Akif.
Okay, thank you. So, Brother Akif, I have about 3 questions to you. I have about 3 or 2 questions about you. So, with the different levels of students, what is your strategy to relieve stress among students during pre-registration? Do you get the question?
Brother Fakhruddin, you can just ask your question, and then Sister Daini will ask the question, and then Brother Anas will answer the question, then Brother Akif will answer it as a whole.
Okay. The second question is, by working together to cover up your weaknesses, do you plan to include those departmental societies under IRKHSSS officially?
Who is this question for?
Do you get the question?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear any of the
Brother
questions.
Akif.
Get different
2
levels of
questions
students.
for Brother Akif.
Can you hear?
Oh,
Hello?
I see.
Can you repeat the first and the second question?
Sister Marsha, can you hear me clearly?
Brother Fakhruddin, just you can repeat the question.
Oh, I see. So, I have 2 questions for Brother Akif. The first one is with the different levels of student, level 1, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, what is your strategy to relieve stress among student during the pre-registration? The second one is, by working together to cover up your weaknesses, do you plan to include those departmental societies under IRKHSSS Student Society officially? Do you get what my question, Brother Akif?
Okay. Let me clarify the second question. The second question is, for the second question, you're asking how is each department going to cover each other's weaknesses, or is it how is the weaknesses from each department to be covered by IRKHS, or is the department going to cover the weakness of IRKHSSS itself? I'm sorry.
Each of the Brother Akif, can you repeat the question?
I'm sorry, I still couldn't hear.
Can you
The
repeat
second question, especially
Okay.
when it comes to covering the weakness, yeah.
Okay. the department and the IRKHSSS Student Society itself?
Uh-huh. Oh, IRKHSS's weakness. I'm so sorry if I'm
Right.
taking your time, but I really would need to understand the question. It's IRKHSS's weakness.
Yeah,
The
yeah, it's
department.
department. Departments under IRKHS. So I think Brother
Okay.
Akif can quite grasp
Hello.
the
Can you hear me?
question. Yes, we can hear you. So I think Sister Daini can ask your question.
Mm.
I think my question is quite similar with Brother Fakhruddin. When Brother Akif mentions that he would like give a spotlight to every level of students, how would you really, what do you mean by you can cater all of those levels? I mean, from what aspects? From what point of view that you think you can cover from the freshman needs to the fourth year students who have a different needs as a students, since they have a different prospect of academic requirements, right? When fourth year students, they already have final year project and stuff. Do you think that you can cater all of them, and how?
Okay, I think Brother Anas, you can ask your question.
Keith, my question is, when you said you wanted to help first year students during pre-registration, how exactly do you think, what is actually your mechanism? Because, I have clearly stated what is my mechanism. Maybe I want to hear yours so that we can work together. Thank you.
Okay, Brother Akif, you have 5 minutes to answer your question. Starting from now.
Okay, hold on. For Anas, was it a question or was it a compliment?
I mean, how do you plan to ease pre-registration for the first year students? Can you hear me?
Brother Akif, can you hear us? You can start answering your questions.
Okay, again, Anas, I still haven't gotten your question. How do I?
How do you ease pre-registration for all students?
How I? It's the same with everyone, is it? Like, how do I cater to all students?
No, for
Or how
mine
would I
is
cater
how,
to first year students and then
for my questions is what is your mechanism to ease pre-registration? Like, what is your plan? Because you said like you wanted to help first year students, right? Yeah.
what is? I'm sorry, it's breaking up. What is?
What is your plan to ease pre-registration
Should
for
probably.
first year students?
Brother Akif, you can check the
What was?
private chat.
Yeah. You said it in private chat. Okay.
And then you can proceed with answering the questions. Since Brother Akif is quite stuck at the moment, we will first move on and start with questions posed to Brother Fakhruddin. So, Sister Daini, please pose your questions to Brother Fakhruddin and then Brother Anas.
Sure. Thank you, Sister Marsha.
1 second, yeah. Because I kind of agree with everything that Fakhruddin manifested, so I don't think I actually that much question. But can I
Yes,
continue?
you can ask your question. If you need a minute, you can take Brother Anas.
I do now. Okay. How do you plan to
Okay, Sister Daini, please.
Okay, can you hear me? First and
how
foremost,
do
can
you
you hear
plan
me?
to gather all the alumni from every
Sister Daini, please. Yes, Brother Akif, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, my mic is not working.
how do you plan to gather all the alumni from
Okay, let me understand the question. So the question is, what is my plan to ease pre-registration?
Yes, but we are starting with Brother Fakhruddin first.
I'm sorry.
We are starting, Brother Fakhruddin will answer, then I will call you later. So please mute your mic first. Sister Daini, please ask your question.
for real this time? Brother Fakhruddin, how do you plan to gather all the alumni from all respective secretariats from each major? Do you have any specific plans to get all those alumni? That's just my question.
Okay, Brother Anas, please ask your question.
Brother Fakhruddin, my questions is, okay, when you said you wanted to make an impactful programs, what do you mean by an impactful programs? And RKHS, the nature of RKHS Student Society is actually not to make programs, because we have to follow the constitutions, and whatever that is in the constitution, we have to follow that based on whatever the programs that we will have to be making. So what is your plan to have an impactful program and is following the constitution and will gauge the and join the unity between IK and also HS. Thank you very much.
Brother Akif, if you want to ask your question, you can ask now. Or if not, do you have any question to Brother Fakhruddin? Brother Akif? It's okay then. We can proceed later. So, Brother Fakhruddin, you have 5 minutes to answer both questions, if you please.
Okay, I'm sorry for Brother Akif. Okay, I'm sorry, Brother Akif. I will proceed to Sister Daini and Brother Anas. Okay? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Sister Daini said that, how do you plan to gather alumni for each of the secretariat, right? So that is your question, right? Okay, that is a wonderful question by Sister Daini, because he know what are my mechanism as well. So if you know that every secretariat have their own major, right? Like his forum, POSA. So I have friends in POSA as well. I have friends in his forum as well, and each of the secretariat have I have friend with them also. I'm not in my circle always, so I keep on communicating with them. I keep on asking for suggestion. This manifesto also coming from the problem statement itself, because we did not know the what we want to bring if we did not know the problem statement itself. So uh, the question is, how do my plan, right? So my plan, to be honest with Sister Daini, Brother Anas, and Akif also, including Sister Marsha also. So I would love to have the alumni every secretariat for that. Every secretariat want to help this alumni and their student, and every secretariat can give their suggestion for I to contact with the alumni itself, because every secretariat in IRKHSSS Student Society is important itself. Most of them most of them graduate in professional also. So this alumni is very important to manage and to guide every student after their graduation day. So Sister Marsha, do I need to proceed to Brother Anas' question?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Anas. Your question was the impactful program, but impactful program not in the constitution. How we want to measure the impactful program in IRKHSSS, right? That is your
What
question,
are
right?
the examples?
Can you repeat the question?
What are the examples of an impactful program that you want to make by each councils of
Okay,
RKHS,
nice.
which have to follow the constitutions lah?
Yeah, I agree with you, Brother Anas. All of society have their own constitution, right? So we need to follow the constitution. So the example of program, okay, if you see our manifesto, we have the booklet for mechanism to manage the each of the council impactful program. So if you can see in the manifesto, I personally not determine the council to make a program, but make sure that they manage to set up their key performance index, the KPI itself. So I did not want to be like we especially did not want to be like uh, leader who just ask them. To we must to have leadership uh, leadership leadership skills also to to help every council to do what they want. That's the important thing. Every council have their own choice. So they will, to answer your question, they will put their own key performance index to measure their I'm sorry in Malay, to measure their prestasi, to measure their prestasi. So I hope that question Brother Anas answer Brother Anas question. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Fakrudin, for the answers. So let's open the floor for questions to Sister Daini. So Brother Fakrudin, you can start asking, and then Brother Anas. Brother Akif, if you're here with us, you can also post your questions to Sister Daini.
So
Brother
I
Fakrudin.
will okay. So thank you Sister Marsha for giving me the opportunity. Okay. Hi Sister Daini. Okay. I hope you are doing well. Okay. Okay. I have okay. To be honest, Daini with me in the CFS during foundation studies also. So I have only one question for her, which is what is your planning to provide skills that are suitable for every major? Are you planning to collaborate with all the departments? Do you get the question, Sister Daini? Okay.
Okay, Brother Anas.
Okay.
Okay, Sister Dayuni. I am actually very interested with your first manifesto, but unfortunately, the things that you have mentioned before, for example, you want a monthly meeting with all secretariats. I, as the main board of IRKHS Student Society right now, we have a bi-weekly meeting, which means every 2 weeks, IRKHS main board, councils of chairperson, all chairpersons of secretariats, and the deputy dean of Student Development and Community Engagements Office, Dr. No, will be having a meeting, a bi-weekly meeting, and us, IRKHS, will also have a weekly meeting with the office. So how can, I mean, this is actually very redundant. And number two, you want to promote all of the programs from each secretariat. This is actually, I think, also redundant because we already have the Telegram channel. Telegram channels is to facilitate efficient dissemination, exactly like your first manifesto. So maybe so that all of the secretariats programs could be posted in the Telegram group. So what can you explain, how can your manifesto be better than what has previously been done by our tenure right now? Thank you very much.
Sister Daini, you have 5 minutes to answer.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Shall I answer Brother Fakruddin questions first?
It's up to you.
Okay. So for the questions, I'm sorry, what was the questions again? How do I make a better? What department do you ask, Brother Fakruddin? Organizing workshop for every major. Do you ask for department? Do you mean by department is secretariats, right? I think that's a yes. Okay. So my plan is, since I am still new in the IRKHSS experience of leadership, so I was just been in the 2 semesters of 1 tenure. So I have not yet to discover the realm of the administration in the degree life. So from what I can think of from collaborating with every secretariat is obviously by having a discussion with all of the chairperson or maybe a representative from each secretariat. And yeah, actually, I think I would just aim for a general skills that is not only applicable to IRKHS students but also to other majors, as I said, that is like can be applicable to even econ students, to engineering students. Basically, the general skills that I cannot really mention the skills. Basically, what can I say from my manifesto is the example of data management and service skill, online service skill oriented service, and also work and grooming ethics, and also how to answer the CV and resume and interview online sessions. So basically, from what I can say is that it doesn't really covers the specific needs of each major, but what can I say is that it is really useful for every major. Uh, can you guys understand what I'm trying to convey there? Okay, so to answer that, okay, so moving on to Brother Anas. Oh wow, that's a very good questions. The first question, I think, when you say that you guys have a bi-weekly discussion, right? Meeting with the deans, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, pardon me because I'm not a part of the MVs in this tenure, right? So I am not sure of how frequent do you guys do the meetings. So from what I see, I think the information that disseminated is not impactful enough and it's not distributed properly to all students, because I think Telegram is just not an official regular medium that every student use, although it is used by many students, but it is not the main social media that people use. So I think it is lack of the powers of spread the information spread there. So I think maybe what can I do? From the first question of the meeting, I'm sorry if it's redundant. Pardon me, I still trying to improve from that. So since that you guys have bi-weekly meeting, I think what can I improve from the meeting? Basically, I think there's no problem with that meeting if you guys say that you guys have frequently meeting. But what can I say that I think there's still a problem in the distribution of information. So I think what I can actually do is actually probably more taking notes and more confirmation. And I think it's just between the cooperation between the committee itself then. So I think it is related to the first manifesto itself. So then if I were to be a part of this administration of this tenure, I think we should cooperate more and hire well attentive committees to be a part of our team so that we could really secure the informations that has been distributed. And for the questions of what was the second question again? I forgot. About the redundant. What is the second redundant thing, Brother Anas?
So I think we have answered both for the meeting and also the Telegram channel.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, thank you, Sister Daini. Since Brother Akif is still not here with us, so let's open the floor for questions to. Sister Daini, you have anything to say?
I'm sorry, I just realized that I haven't really fully answered Brother Anas' questions on number 2. I think I do like membalas. I do answer, but I do not give the solutions. Yes, I do answer why Telegram is not the main media of distribution, but I do not give the solution yet. Okay, so for the solution, I was thinking probably we can really cooperate with the multimedia among each secretariats to really distribute, to have a group WhatsApp or Twitter or anything that is specific for each publication bureau to actually share of what their program is, so that from other secretaries can also share it as well. So that's about because not every student, not even myself, is a part of the IRKHSSS Telegram channel. Some people are they just think that, oh, my own kuliah group is enough to get the information that is needed. So that's why I think it is important for us to cooperate and to integrate. So that's why I think from what I can suggest now for my own capability is that to have the organized bureau, cooperated one, to share and exchange each other's almanac and to promote. So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Daini. Okay, Brother Fakruddin, you can ask your question to Brother Anas, and Sister Daini, you can proceed after that.
Hello, Brother Anas. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. I have only one question for Brother Anas. So in your manifesto, in your first manifesto, you said that you want to establish an efficient way of online manual period, right? So in your opinion, how do you define the term efficient itself? Do you get what I mean, Brother Anas? Okay, thank you.
My turn. Okay. Brother Anas, in one of your manifesto, you did mention about the welfare assistance in perspective of laptop. You want to provide laptop, is it? Oof, I think that's a pretty big manifesto to give to the students. That's a pretty big hope, even for me as well. So I would like to know, how would you plan to provide, the laptop that is not something that you can get from a shop, from eco shop? How do you, even our university is not capable to cater all the students' needs in laptop assistance. So I would be really interested to know, how would you manage to do that? Thank you.
Brother Anas, I received a question from Brother Akif. So how do you plan to show your leadership when managing IRKHSSS and all other departments? So that's the question. So Brother Anas, you have 5 minutes starting from now.
Thank you very much. I think I want to refute a bit from Sister Daini's response when she said we need a group that will consist of the media. We already have that also. And okay, number one question is from Brother Farkuddin. How do you define efficiency? When I want to make a centralized platform, that means I want to have a platform that is very, very comprehensive, that will answer all of your problems for academic issues. For example, it will have all of the PIC from each department. It will have the PIC from the deanery office, because the problems is not only while you are registering the subjects, there are other problems like study plan issues, which is actually very, very common for the fourth year students. So an efficient online centralized platform would be something that is very comprehensive, something that is very comprehensive and also practical, because then the thing that you do during the manual pre-registration is just to go to the website, and then you will just get every single thing that you want to gain from the information to manually pre-write. Thank you very much. So number 2 is from Sister Rayuni. Yes, laptop is very ambitious, and yes, probably we may not think that okay, let me reiterate. There are students in our kuliah that is very much struggling with ERTL. And I know you know it very well, and they don't have a conducive learning environment. So to provide a laptop, there are two mechanisms. One is to get the money from the fundraising platform that I also mentioned before, so that all of our friends from the kuliah and also the kuliah community could chip in, and then that will also instill the sense of togetherness for us to help our underprivileged friends. Number 2 is, of course, we can find any of um, companies that would want to sponsor, because I believe that it is a dire time and people are really struggling and they would understand. Of course, we will need a very proper plan, but inshallah, we will come up with that together. And why I want to give laptop, because I think as a student body, as the kuliah based society, we have to think beyond giving welfare aid that is very common. We have to give something that is sustainable. So the key features here is to give something that is very sustainable for our less privileged students. For our brother Akif, the questions on how would I show my leadership when managing IKHS Student Society and all other departments is that I am ready from day one, because I have been in the system. I was in the main board. I am still in the main board, and I know who are our stakeholders. Number one stakeholders is of course the students, and we have our deanery, the all three offices of deputy deans. We have our dean. We have our councils of chairpersons, which includes all 8 secretariat chairperson. So this is how that, like, the thing that I would do in my turn, in my span of next tenure, is to instill the sense of togetherness, because we should know all of our stakeholders. We should know all of our stakeholders and keep engaging with them, because at the end of the day, our final objective is of course to serve the students, to be their representative and to be their voices, because we are a student representative, we are elected by the students, and of course we have to serve them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Anas, for the answers. So since we have Brother Akif here with us, so Brother Akif, you can start answering the questions now. You have 5 minutes, please.
I've still yet to receive the question from Daini, but I'll answer Fakhruddin and Anas's first. So with Fakhruddin, you asked regarding the 4 levels, right? When it comes to all the 4 levels, my priority first goes to the first year students, as I feel like they have the most difficulty, but I'm not neglecting the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year as well. In that sense, I want to provide them the tools necessary for them to carry on their semester, by having the system of the study plan, but breaking it down to the molecular level. So showing them which one to take for each semester, and on top of that, we provide them materials for each coming semester for each subject. In that sense, I feel, because everyone can do this essentially, because anyone can look at the study guide and then find the materials they needed and all that. So I feel like if we gather all the societies together, and if we have IRKHSSS as a support guide, we can actually distribute it to all all of the community, especially with the 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year, and 4th year. And then to answer your second question, by working together to cover up weaknesses, do you plan to include? Yes, I am planning to include all departmental societies, because one, I want to talk about the thing that we have in SciStar. In SciStar, after having talks with them, they actually have a mental health system or mental health screening that they want to do, and I feel that it's not only beneficial for the society in of itself, or the community within that society. It's not only just for psychology students, it should be applicable to all students. And I feel that if IRKHSSS is collaborating with all of the departmental societies, we can establish that on a larger basis. And not only that, but we can also help a larger audience, which is the IRKHS community. So in that sense, yes, in that sense, I am working, I do plan to work together with all departmental societies, and IRKHSSS is the mother, is the one like distributing it all to all of the to all of its shareholders. In that sense, when it comes to Anas's question, what is your plan to ease prereq? My plan to ease prereq is to give priority to first year students, because now what we have right now is fourth year students go first, they have like a 1 or 2 day rate, then the third year, then the second year, then you give the first year. That's basically like giving scraps to our children, you know, like you have a family, and then you're eating turkey, and then all the little bits, the grains, that's what you're giving to your children. That's basically not what I want to do, right? You want to give the best to your children. As a father, as a mother, as a family member, you want to give the best to the next generation. And that's what I plan. I want to give the priority towards the first year students by letting them go first, because IMSU has stated that they want that they see that there should be a priority change. And they have stated it before while I was in while I was in the Education and Intellectual Council. So I feel that if we can properly establish that by giving priority towards the first year student, then maybe the fourth year students, and then the second, and then the third year, and all the subsequent years, by giving the priority first towards the first generation or the first year students, then we can properly establish that these first year students, they have a good mindset when coming into IRKHS. Then that not only helps in the short term, but also helps in the long term, because you're talking about motivation, you're talking about passion. How can you instill that passion when you're giving them the bad first impression? So that is my answer to that question. When it comes to Dayani, what is your question?
Sister Dayani, you can repeat your question.
My question is basically the same as Brother Fakuddin and Brother Anas, but yeah, I think you didn't really mention specifically like how can you manage to cater like the students, first year students, and also the fourth year, because they are in, let's just say this semester, right? We have all 4 years of students, all 4 level of students, right? So how can you manage to cater all of them at one time with 4 different needs? But we highlight only the first year and the fourth year, because fourth year, as we understand, they have their own final year project, right? And the first year students, we have the prereq, obviously. So how can you manage to help them at one time?
That's
Is
why
it
I
clear?
feel that that's why I feel that you already answered your question, because when you said that the fourth year already have their own problem, then basically we already established that they are focusing on their final year project. They shouldn't have any problems when pre-registering, right? And even if it comes to elective, they can literally take any other elective. Why would they want to take intro to comms? Why would they want to take intro to psychology? Because that is an old system. Now it's the new system. You don't have to take all the new intros. You can take all the other whatever electives that's there in IRKHS, or even in other kuliahs. And when you talk about how am I catering to all of them subsequently, that's where I plan to have the study guide. When I have all of these study guides, that's when you give all of these students a chance to talk, or a chance in in achieving success in their courses, in their subjects. If you obviously you cannot obviously everyone is different, right? When you look at the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, they all have different needs. So that's why when I'm doing this pre-registration thing, I want to focus first on the first year, because we want to give them that impression that yes, IRKHS is the best and we're giving you the best. And then when we cater to the fourth year, because they already have everything, then they already have the experience. You don't have to babysit them anymore. So we only cater them towards what they need, which is the study guide, which is materials. And then second and third year, we can only show them, we can guide them, like which ladder to take, right? Which test to take, which subjects they should take next. For example, you cannot take statistics without research methodology. So you obviously give that first. You obviously give them that that recommendation. And on top of that, you even give them the section, okay, this lecturer is best. If it suits your personality, take this lecturer. If this suits your personality, take this lecturer. And on top of that, we're also giving guides. And like I said, everyone can do this. Like literally anyone can do this. But the fact that we have a collective, the fact that we can collaborate on this together, we can also spread this kuliah wide, so that everyone can have ease, everyone can have access, everyone can have access in delivering in achieving success. Because one thing that I want to focus on, especially when it comes to my manifesto, is to ease development and ease education. So what I meant there is that I want people to focus on just exploring what you need. Because when you come into university, you don't really have a clear mind. You're still exploring what you want to do, what you want to feel, what you want to do when you work later. So I don't want them to focus on the nitty-gritty and all this technical stuff. That is supposed to be our job. That is supposed to be the department's job, the kuliah's job, and the society's job, because we already have that information, we already have that knowledge, and we already have that experience. So thank you for the question.
Thank you to Brother Akif, and thank you to all of our candidates for the questions and answers. But what is a democracy if we don't listen to the voices and concerns of our students? So we will now proceed with the question and answer session from our audience. So please post your question in the comment section, and also please mention the candidate that you want to post your question to. So without further ado, let us start with the first question to Brother Akif. So in your opinion, is it compulsory for all secretariats to stay united in handling welfare and academic issues? If yes, what is your plan?
I'm sorry, Sister Marsha.
Yes.
Can you repeat the question, because other candidate question also is important for me.
Okay. Question to Brother Akif. In your
Okay.
opinion, is it compulsory for all secretariats to stay united in handling welfare and academic issues? If yes, what is your plan?
Okay.
Brother Akif, you can answer. Can you hear? If you still have connection issues, we can proceed to the second question.
Hello, I'm sorry. What was the question?
If, in your
You're
opinion,
breaking up.
is it compulsory for all secretariats to stay united in handling welfare and academic issues? If yes, what is your opinion?
The question is in my opinion, should society stay united on an academic front? Is it?
Welfare and academic issues.
Is that the question?
Welfare and academic
Welfare
issues.
and academic. Should
Students, all
should
secretariats.
department and society stay united? You know, is it important for all secretariats to stay united in handling welfare and academic issues? Okay.
If yes, what is your plan?
Oh, okay. If yes, what is my plan? Okay, in regards to welfare and academic, I've stated it in my manifesto where I said to ease development and education, right? So obviously academic is part of it. And when I say to bring back the spirit of IRKHS, again, is to bring back the spirit by continually engaging with the students and continually asking their questions, asking what are their troubles, what are they going through. So in that sense, when it comes to welfare, I think I already answered that question by stating that when I'm engaging with these people, obviously I would understand what their issues are and what they're going through. So when I say that secretaries should stay united, yes, they should stay united in handling welfare and academic, because that's where the biggest issue is, right? When we're going through the experiences of IRKHS or experiencing IIUM in general, we're going to have to go through some issues, and the biggest one obviously is welfare. The second big is academic. So this is where society should actually step up their game, where departmental societies, because they know their community, they should be involved. And because IRKHS is the umbrella for all of those departmental societies, then they should also be involved by disseminating information towards each of the audiences within the departmental societies. Again, I've stated this like before when I'm talking about how do I deal with all of this, with people from each level, right? When they ask what's the point of how I cater to each level. That's what the study guide is for, right? when they're having troubles with their academic, at least they can have a recommendation. One thing is a recommendation, and then the second thing is a tutor. We already have that tutoring system, and the other thing that they have is, reference.
Since he's not here with us and we're running out of time, so I will proceed with the second question to Brother Anas. So how are you planning to advance the agenda of sejahtera of the kuliah and university? So Brother Anas, if you please.
Thank you very much, Sister Marsha. For everyone's information, sejahtera or insan sejahtera is the last stage of a student's development according to the National Education Philosophy or falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan. So to instill the sense of sejahtera inside every individual is very important because especially to instill the agenda of sejahtera inside our inside our kuliah. The agenda of sejahtera has been propagated by our rector, Tan Sri Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Zul, and we have seen that he has been preaching about it since last year. And even the last Ta'aruf week, we have seen that there were a module on insan sejahtera, and this has been instilled also in our kuliah by our deputy deans and our dean. So I believe that to ensure a holistic, a synergized, and a synergized well-being of development for every student, we have to follow. We have to ensure that people's welfare are being taken care of. We have to ensure that they could get jobs, they could be employable after they graduate, and also we have to include. We have to ensure that they would have a smooth and efficient pre-registration because academic system is very important. Of course, I've seen Sister Najiha. She also asked like course manual registrations are needed to be taken care by all kuliah. My first manifesto is strictly for online manual course registration, whereby you will be giving during the normal norm, you will be giving 01 form at the each department. So I'm not talking about the whole pre-registrations that we are doing currently right now. It is during the early stages of the semester, whereby we didn't get we didn't get the subjects that we want to get during this time of registration. So I hope that answers your questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Brother Anas. So on to our third question to Sister Daini. Brother Akif, I would like to ask if you have finished answering just now. Can you hear us?
Yes. Okay, just can I just finish up the last point?
Can finish. Yes.
Okay, so when I basically you already understand for the academic level. So what I want to talk about is rather on the welfare level, which is what I believe all the other candidates have actually talked about. And in my experience, like I've said before, a leader doesn't work alone. A leader doesn't work on his own grounds. He needs people to work with, and that's what I feel. If I were to be president, or if I were not even elected, I can still see that there are all the candidates. By looking at the candidates' manifesto, that's how you can achieve all of everything relating to welfare. What I'm trying to say is that when I'm looking at this as not a competition but as a collaboration in of itself, because I'm not going to be working alone. I'm going to be working with all of you. I'm going to be working with the president, vice president, and all of that. So when looking at the welfare, yes, obviously all secretariats have to be involved. Obviously, especially IRKHSSS is going to be involved, and that's where we're going to have all of those fundraising. And with those fundraising, that's where we can cater back to our audience, cater back towards IRK. Collaboration between different societies, secretariats, and the kuliah itself. But we also need the support of each department's community, or the IRKHS community. We cannot actually build a front without people to help, and that's my
Thank you, Brother Akif, for the for the answer. Okay. Okay, Sister Daini, our audience had asked, how are you going to bridge the gap between local and international students? There's really no unity sometimes, and you can see that there's not a lot of international students that are aware with the election too. So, Sister Daini, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Masha. I personally like the questions because I have been questioning the relationship of international and local students myself because I personally have international students, my friends as well. But yeah, they are very unaware of these elections. Not only the international, even the locals one. If we didn't really spread the words, they don't really aware of that. So I think, how am I supposed to connect the gap? I think um, coming from my own capabilities, as for now, I think obviously I would just try to suggest, if it's not from the IRKHS itself, I think I try to suggest on all the secretariats to conduct a program specifically for bonding, especially like I think the Pastina has already done it. The Indonesian feast, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are a cultural fest, I think, which is a good idea. And I think it is, I think we could make it as a tradition, a compulsory program for every tenure, for every SEM, to do a programs that really connects the international and also local students. Aside from that, I think there's nothing really much can do aside from the basic, actually the basic programs that we did. Supposedly can really include the local and international. But yeah, like I say, the problem actually comes from the first manifesto itself, which is the integrations and the dissemination of information. That's the first thing that we must overcome uh, to actually come to this sense of togetherness. So far as I can conclude from what I can and able to do is basically to just conduct an cultural fest as for now. But I am very open to any ideas, and yeah, I think we can see and proceed from that. Thank you.
So thank you, Sister Daini, for the answer. So next, on to our question to Brother Fakrudin from Omar on behalf of international students in IRKHSSS. In IRKHS, we have the most number of international students. So what is your stance towards them? So that's the question. What is your stand for international students? Brother Fakrudin, do you get the question?
I'm sorry, Sister Marsha. Can you repeat the question?
What is your stand for international students in IRKHS? Brother Fakrudin, you can begin answering.
Okay, what is your stance? I repeat the question, Sister Marsha, for the viewers. What is your stand with international students for IRKHS Student Society? That is the question. Okay, thank you. Okay, good question from the viewers also. So, to be honest, this is to be honest, IIUM Gombak itself, IIM Kuantan or IIM Pagu itself, the special of IIUM itself is the local and international student itself. If you can see, we managed to help the local, and also we managed to help the international student itself, because both of these students got to contribute directly and indirectly to the kuliah. If Sister Marsha and Sister Danny and Brother Anas also, you in the IRKHS, right? So you know that the international, we have the international in the council, right? So we can do, we can get their information, get their close friend, get their data to help the to help all of the international student, because this is the specialty of IIUM itself, the triple ICE, right? So IIUM is very unique. So if you can see, all of the university, they have they have little of international student. So IIUM itself, we must be proud of IIUM. We can, I'm personally play futsal with international student. Although I lost every day, but they playing futsal because I'm not good at sport. So they playing futsal. They are in the IM Mustang also. See, so the the quality of international student itself will be need for IIUM in the sport. Like example, IIM Mustang. So we can't to like biarkan international. We cannot. IIUM is uh, both have both medium, which is local and international student. Honestly, I would love to. My roommate also is from Indonesia, so we keep on changing idea about politics, about history itself. So uh, for me personally, I have no problem dealing with international students, and they are very important for IIUM itself. Thank you, Sister Masha.
Thank you, Brother Fakhruddin. Okay, now I have a question that and that is open to all. So any one of you can answer. So the question is, the constitution part is interesting. Can all candidates briefly elaborate to what extent that they are well versed with the IRKHSSS constitution? Who made it by is it by consensus of chairpersons? So I open the floor to anyone that wants to answer.
Bismillah. Okay. The Constitution of IRKHS Student Society constitute all of the rules and regulation for IRKHS Student Society. It was made by the previous tenure and it has been amended few times. For example, it was amended last time because we wanted to do an elections. So it was done by the tenure of IRKHS Student Society and also with the endorsements by our deanery and also the endorsements of the councils of chairpersons. And I believe that a president should be very well versed of the constitutions because it explains everything on what is the role, what is the clear job scopes of each councils, what is the role for the president, the vice president one, vice president two, secretary, and also honorary treasurer. And also we have to see that what is actually the mission and vision of IRKHS Student Society, which is integration towards perfection. And to do that, what the types of program that we have to do is to inculcate the ilm or the knowledge of social sciences and also Islamic sciences, because that is the reason the founding father of our kuliah, Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Kamal Hassan, has established this kuliah. And also, for example, we will have to cater on something that cannot be done by other secretariats, for example, KUSEF, because it is a kuliah based programs, and also KUSEF and other, for example, conventions that other secretariats cannot do, because that is why we have to know the nature of IRKHS Student Society, which is to be the umbrella body for all its secretariats and to be the student body of Kuliah of Islamic Relevant Knowledge and Human Sciences. Thank you very much.
So anyone else want to answer the question? It's open. Brother Fakhruddin, do you want to? Okay. Okay. So moving on. So we have a question
So,
to
Sister
Sister.
Daiti, did you want-
Sorry.
Sister Masha, I want to answer the question.
Okay, please do.
Okay. Okay, thank you. For the constitution question, congratulations to the viewers because the question is good, because the constitution is the founding father of the foundation of the IRKHS itself. So to be honest, I would love to uh, share about the vision and the mission of IRKHS itself, because of the vision and the mission of itself is the foundation to create another constitution. So the vision is about to integration towards perfection. What is the definition by integration? If if every of these viewers can know that IRKHSS is actually a unique kuliah. It's a integration between IRK, Islamic Reliable Knowledge, and human sciences subject. So this both discipline we combine in one kuliah. So for I quote from my personal scholar, which is we must become a balanced student, which means we must have the knowledge for IRK also, we must have knowledge for HS also. If you can see in our course outline, we managed to get to have some to have to rasa some IRK subject, right? Like Islamic Akidah, introduction to Quran Sunnah, right? So this subject managed to build our, like for example Islamic Akidah. This knowledge can manage to build the oneness of God in ourselves. The importance of oneness of God. So who is our God, which is Allah. Okay. So the RKHS also can manage to take the HS subject also, which is introduction to political science, for example, introduction to history and civilization, for example. So this both of these discipline will merge together in one kuliah, which is under the vision integration towards perfection. So the mission I will share one only, which is to foster the bond of unity among the kuliahs, among IRKHS student itself. So we know that Department of IRK and HS is far, right? I think, in my opinion, is far. So we need to go to IRK, we need to go to HS. We need to go to IRK, we need to go to HS frequently. So in the meantime, this is my personal action. If we met some friend, you can just hello to them. You can just greet them. Also for others friend also. So I guess that that answering Sister Marsha question. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Fakhruddin. We now have a question. We now have a question to Sister Daini. So your third manifesto is to establish ERTL COVID-19 online support system. So how does this support system differs to IIUM psychological support team? Daini, if you please.
Okay, thank you for the good questions. I have already thought of that. I knew that it was coming. Okay, so what differentiates between the IIUM psychological website? I think basically what I was trying to promise here is I want to create a specific council that is focusedly on integrating that. And what I can try to vouch is that a faster and a very responsive system, which is I think IIUM system generally is lack of that. I think we all can agree in every aspect. IIUM system is a bit slow. So I think it comes from my own initiative because I have experienced it myself to have like a 2 to 3 days feedback from the psychological systems or anything. I think it's about time that we have to start to be independent. We as a future leaders have to start to establish it ourselves instead of depending it on the staff, because I think the staff has already a lot of work to do. So I think as a student, we also understand the importance to gain the feedback as soon as possible when we ask for help. So I think if the students is the one who managing it, I think we can tolerate the times and also the schedules of the assistants, and also not only from the hotline, but also basically the already listed frequently asked questions there. So I think what can I say from what I can vouch is basically a faster, reliable, and a more understanding service, because from a student to a student.
Thank you, Sister Daini. We have another open to all question. Anyone can vouch to answer. So do you think you have the necessary connections and resources to fulfill your manifestos? So everyone, you can answer. Who wants to go first?
Sister Marsha, can you repeat the question?
Do you think you have the necessary connections and resources to fulfill your manifestos? Everyone can answer.
Can I go first?
Sure.
Personally, I think I do because my manifesto is actually coming from a student itself. So the only resources that I need is me, myself, my team, and the students, which is the only resources that we need to help each other. So if you ask what are the resources to execute my manifesto, it's basically you guys. So the only thing that I need is your cooperation. That's it from me.
Anyone who wants to answer the question? Do you think you have the necessary connections and resources to fulfill your manifesto?
Brother, Sister Marsha?
Do you think you have the necessary connections and
No, no.
resources?
Did Brother Anas want to answer this question? Okay.
You can answer by the Fakruddin.
Okay, thank you. So I repeat the question, which is, do you think that our manifesto have necessary information or connection to fulfill the manifesto, right? Okay. Uh, Thank you, Sister Marsha, for the information. So, to be honest, if you join my our if you join our group supporter, I have a specific booklet for my viewers. It shows that every problem statement, uh, every every problem statement, manifesto, objective, and the mechanism itself. We did not do like in Malay, bulan and bintang manifesto. We do the we do the specific manifesto uh, according to the like a research methodology. We have the problem statement and we get the answer, and then we try to manage the strategy. Okay, to answer your question, yes, personally, we have the connection with with the others. We have the data. So, for instance, about my manifesto is about the IIUM alumni. We do have uh, we do have phone number. We do. To be honest, I also friend with IIUM alumni in history itself in Facebook. We keep on changing ideas. So so it is possible because my manifesto is to not idealistic. I love to being practical. I love to help and friends with everyone. I'm not in my circle only. I know what my friends problem. So we can share the discussion. Okay, thank you, Sister Masha.
Thank you, Brother Fakruddin. I believe Brother Akif wants to answer the question. Brother Akif, you can, if you
Okay, first of all, can you hear me again? So sorry about this.
Yes, we can
To
hear
answer
you.
the question, all right, thank you. Good. To answer your question, yes, we already have the resources necessary. IUM is a plethora of resources. When you look at IUM library, just look at IUM library. We have a lot of things there. And it's not a matter of whether we have the resources or not. It's a matter of whether we use it or not, and we know how to use it. And we look at IRKHS, like, look at IIUM TV now. It's a broadcasting station. Like, who would have thought IUM would have something like that? And then if you look at psychology, we have a mental health screening. We have mental health. So it's not a matter of whether we have that resources, whether we have the information necessary, because we do. It's a matter of whether on how we're using those information, how we're using those resources, and that's what I feel I can bring to the table by having all of these departments coming together, by having all of us work in unison to properly provide for the students in IRKHS. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Akif, for the answer. Brother Anas, do you have anything to say?
To answer on do I have the necessary resources? Yes, as all of them have said that we have plenty of resources that have been provided by the university and also the kuliah. So what is the role of IKHS Student Society here is to be the linkage between those resources to the students. So I think this is very important because whatever that we have to do, it is to serve for the students. That is why that linkage is very important because I think plenty of resources. For example, in my second manifesto on welfare aid in terms of mental health, we already have psychosocial support. We already have CCSC. We can work with them and link the students towards the right channel, towards the professional. And for my manifesto number 3 is to ensure or to prosper RKHS students' marketability. This one can be achieved by very vigorous planning with our Deputy Dean of Academic Affairs and Industrial Linkages. That is the keyword, industrial linkages and also CCSC. So I believe that we all have the necessary resources. It is just up to the next president and the next team for them to link all of those resources to all of our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Anas. So we are at the end of the session. So we have one last question. So to Brother Anas, in your third manifesto under systemic welfare, 8, how will you identify the underprivileged students in order for them to be qualified to receive the laptops? Do you get my question? Do you get the question?
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sister Masha, and for the sister that asked the questions. How will I define underprivileged students? Basically, IKHS, we do have our own B40 students data that we have collected throughout this tenure due to the ERTL and due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And number 2, we have the data from the kuliah also. And we have been always being in touch with the Deputy Dean of Student Development and Community Engagement because they already have the data. And also we have the data from STAT, and the most comprehensive data is from for B40 students is from STAT. So what I would do is that for the applicants, they would have to be in compliance with all of the criteria based on the B40 standards that have been set by the university. And of course, we will have a vigorous and we will have a more comprehensive interview for them because we need to know what is the real criteria and what is their living conditions. So not every, I mean, so underprivileged students can be taken the data by STAT, by the deanery, and also by our own B40 students for B40 list. Thank you very much.
So unfortunately, time is not on our side, and that was all that we can afford to answer in this live session tonight. If you have further questions, you can interact with our candidates through their social media accounts before the election starts tomorrow. So before we end, I believe that our candidates have much to say, but now we open the floor for our candidates to share their thoughts or their final words in 1 minute. So, Brother Akif, if you can go first, please.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So to close the remark, basically what we're going through is troubling times right now. And what we're facing is really struggling for all of us. But you have to understand, it's not only the students that are in trouble, but it's also the department and the kuliah themselves. So we have to understand each other. The problem is we don't understand each other and we don't have the communication to find that necessary communication. So that's why I am here to bring it to the table. I want to be that closing gap between the management department, administration, and all that with the IRKHS, with the societies, with the IRKHSSS platform using that. So what is that? I feel is that to close the remark is that I want to see change. I want to see things going for the better for all of us because I wouldn't be here today if I didn't care about IRKHS. And I wouldn't be here of you, me being the actor I am, being in front of thousands of millions of people in front of you, like embarrassing myself in this situation. If I didn't care about IRKHS, if I didn't have the guts to make a stand, to do something right for once. So in that sense, vote for me if you vote for change, vote for chance, vote for equity. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Akif. So now we open the floor to Brother Fakhruddin, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you to Sister Barsha. Okay. Thank you to all of my viewers. Thank you to all of uh, the one who right now watching this live session with us. So I really need your criticism to help me to improve myself, because I'm not uh, I'm not a perfect person. We cannot find a perfect person. So we need to try to improve. In the meantime, I quote my best friend. Word, Lutfi Morton, his name. He said that don't compare you with others. I love that quote. So if you have something, you must to try. If for example like English, right? So you must to try to talk. So I would love to everyone to criticize me, and at the same time I will improve myself. Honestly, I love to uh, lunch together with Brother Anas, dinner together with Brother Anas, and Brother Akif also. Sister Daini cannot lah, because because I love his idea about intellectual program. I joined his program as well. So my last word is I'm Fakhruddin and I'm here to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Fakhruddin. So, Sister Daini, please start with your 1-minute remark. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Masha. Okay, first of all, I would just like to thank the audience. Thank you guys for supporting all of the candidates. I'm pretty sure all of the candidates is a very qualified person, and I can vouch that they are a great president candidates for you guys. And yeah, basically, I would just like to say that choose wisely, but I think every candidate's vision is really integrated with one another. So I think regardless of whoever you pick, it will be a great future for the next tenure. And I'm very happy and excited to see where we can go. So thank you guys for the support.
Thank you, Sister Daini. So Brother Anas, you can start.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. To all of our friends in Kuliah of Islamic Religion Knowledge and Human Sciences, I believe this is the time for you to think wisely who do you want to vote, because the next 1 year will determine that what is the future of IRKHS student society. We need someone that can represent the whole 4,380 students of our Kuliah. We need someone who can speak up in Islam. We need someone who can fight for your voice. And I am ready to do all of that, because my intention is very clear. It is to serve everyone. I will be ready from day one, because I have known the system. I have known who are the stakeholders from our community. And I believe that we can do great together with all of our candidates, Brother Fakhruddin, Sister Daini, Brother Akif, because all of them are very accomplished. And I am actually very glad to be in the same stage as them. So vote for me to have a IRKHS sejahtera. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Brother. Thank you to Brother Anas, and thank you to all our candidates. So don't forget to cast your votes tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. online. The link will be accessible through IRKHSSS social media accounts, Telegram channel, and your respective secretariat social media accounts. Results will be accessible through IRKHSSS social media accounts and the campus news portal IIUM Today, which will be featuring live updates as well.
IIUM Today was established in May 2014 and founded by Prof. Datuk Seri Dr. Syed Arabi with coordinator Dr. Wan Nur Shira along with managing editor Najmi Syahiran and Farah Adiba.
Wait. That is too boring. Let me make it more interesting. Hi and welcome to IIUM Today. So, this is the place where the information that you read every day are being made. Basically, our function is to provide the information for IIUM students like you, so that you will be knowledgeable, and that is somehow our tagline. IIUM Today is for IIUM by IIUM. In IIUM Today, we have 41 reporters and 12 PR and me. Yes, I'm included in IIUM today. Plus, if you want to join IIUM today, you are need to be a communication student and interested in writing. Easy je kan? And that's for IIUM today, brought to you by Communication Department.
For tonight, since we are in collaboration with IIUM TV, don't forget to follow IIUM TV on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube as well. Subscribe. So thank you all to our candidates. All the best to Brother Akif, Brother Fakhruddin, Sister Dayini, and also Brother Anas. So don't forget to cast your votes tomorrow. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a good night. Thank you, everyone.
Been the best Ramadan for me. Alhamdulillah.
Finding your confidence with the grade.
One of the orang tak tahu pasal sampah yang ada di landfill.
Satu tarikh yang diterima oleh umat Islam.
Minat karang muzik, tapi hati ni dia macam main lagu ganas-ganas.
Tapi kan, contoh-contoh wanita yang berjaya.
Yes.